Hello and welcome back to Remorse the List. And in this video I'm going to be going through and I'm going to show you guys all three of the endings to the game, the bad, neutral, and the good. I'm going to be showing you where to get all of the little collectible games for the achievement, which I don't actually know what you get for it, and I'll be showing you guys how to solve each of the puzzles, and there will be timestamps down below in the description. And if for those of you who are looking at this just as a guide and you don't want my commentary, there will actually be a link in the description as well for a version of this that doesn't actually have any commentary. It'll just be how you do it and just all the puzzles and endings themselves. So let's go ahead and dive right into a new game of Remorse the List, and let's start off by showing you guys the bad ending, and we'll just cut out all the nonsense. And I'll just be showing you guys, like I said, all of the stuff that leads up to it, all the choices that lead to the endings, how you solve the puzzles, and yeah, anything else that I find interesting in there. You know, where you find certain items and collectibles as well. So yeah, let's get started with the bad ending here. Alright, so the first collectible we're going to be getting here is shortly after you start the game. When you pick up the map and you come across the table, you head on over this way, you're going to see this is actually Bricklayer. This is the first of 8 little games, and as I said, there will be timestamps all over for these. They're not really necessarily going to be in any particular order, so if you're looking for one in particular, I'll just have labeled them by the game in the thing below. But yeah, that's and now let's head on towards what I believe is going to be one of the first puzzles as well in the game. Alright, and here's going to be the second of the little games. So in this case, I'll actually hop on the map. So here's where we started. What I've done is I've followed this path down. I broke off here. We ended up out here on Vachi Street, I believe it is. Or I think it's Vatsy Street. And now we ended up down in this way. And this is actually the bar that has a sign that says unemployed, at least drink. And in here give us one of the options to get inside of a location that you guys should probably be familiar with at the hospital, and it also gave us this, MetroIV, which is technically the third insofar as the game is concerned. But alright, let's continue on. Alright, so one of the first real puzzles in the game is solving a safe code in this building. It's called Block 9. You'll know it because it has this horrific abomination in the lobby. And to solve it is actually pretty straightforward. So you go around all 4 levels and you're looking for these symbols. So there's a backwards P, there's an X. If you go on up here, go into this room, I believe, there is a backwards B. And then if we go all the way up to the top floor, tucked behind this bookshelf is something that looks vaguely like a T. And then in here we find a note where they talk about how the order is. So what you're supposed to do is you go in here, you hit this, there's a painting here that you activate, and then it opens up, and then there's the code. You have to put XPBT, and what it gives you is this weird key. And you use this key in the bottom floor of this building. This one actually took me a little bit because I personally missed that, so yeah, just something to keep in mind. But then you go ahead and you can use this downstairs, and that will take you on to actually another really interesting puzzle. So through the door of the basement that had the weird key, we come across this room here, and there's a couple of bits of information that are important. So this one here is 3 to 7, and what we have are a bunch of crowns, and we have to come up with a number. So what it is we actually have to find, there's 2 different sides here. We have to follow some math. We have to follow a story that's told. So the first one, 100 footmen carried 10 crowns to the castle of Halako. Or Haloko? I have no idea. A friend of mine has tried really hard to help me understand how Hungarian works, and bless her heart, but I'm an idiot, so alright. And then halfway to the castle, a group of bandits attack, taking 3 crowns and having the army's good men, so that brings it down to 50. Then over this way, we find a pentagon. Soldiers tried to catch them, but they fell into a trap, and 35 of the best men died. So now we're down to 15. So we just need to find 6 and 7. Now 6 is actually in the room over here, so there is 6. The cavalry arrived, so by that time the army's size quadrupled. Meanwhile, 3 of the crowns were lost traversing the woods. So that went up from 15 all the way to 60. And then finally, number 7 gives us the last bit of detail, and it tells us how many we're looking for. Also, fair warning to you guys, when you go over to this one, there is a monster that's standing right there. There's also some ammo and stuff that you can get on that side. So, the crown reached the castle at the day's end, but in exchange for the lost crown, the king hanged the footmen of the original army. So, that tells us there are 45 troops left. In order to do 45, which is what we have to get here, it's these. Now, this actually, I'm not sure about the whole using 4 crowns thing, because several times 3 is referenced. My personal theory is that you have to... basically, you lose 3 crowns twice. So you end up with only 4 crowns left of the 10 original. But, yeah, there we go. And now we actually head out here, and this is going to be one of the, I believe, one of the first choices that you can make that will affect the ending. I don't know that for sure. But here we are. The royal family lived its days in peace. The queen watered her flowers in the garden while the priest taught the prince. The king was very busy with the kingdom's matter, but one day, however, the queen became very sick and the king commanded forth all of his doctors and healers to his court. They examined the king's love for days, but they could not help her. Many kinds of healers came and went, but all the cures failed to help and the king started to lose hope. After a week, there was nothing to do and the sickness took away his love from him. The king locked himself into his very room for days. Everyone waited for what was going to happen when the doors opened up. When the king came out from his room, his first command was to move his son into one of the monasteries far away from the kingdom and continue teaching him there. A couple of days passed again, and the king came out once more and asked his royal guards to bring him everyone who tried to help the queen. No one knew what to expect from the king when everyone moved into the big hall. Then his highness appeared with his guards and told the healers and everyone who had let the queen down would be punished. Next morning, all the healers and doctors were hanged at the main square as punishment for their failure. After a couple of years, the prince decided to return to the kingdom even if it was against his father's will. They tried to stop him, but he was relentless. After he reached a little town next to the king's castle, the peasants started whispering behind his back. He didn't know what his family did and how it sealed the royal family's fate. As the young prince entered the throne room, he immediately noticed how different his father looked. Only a couple of years had passed since the last time they saw each other, but still his father looked as if he had... something. How will the young prince feel when he understands what his father's done? Can he forgive his father's crimes, or will he bring justice to the castle? So there we go. And this leads us to the king. And we have 2 choices here. We can either punish him, or we can forgive him. And despite the shape, both of these will actually fit in there. And I believe these may affect one of the endings. Since we're doing the bad ending, let's go in here. We're going to use the Tablet of Judgment. It doesn't perfectly fit, but it fits well enough. So let's see what happens to the king. Jesus, okay. I hadn't actually seen that before. Alright, that's a harsh way to go. But there we go. Then this opens up. And now we actually get the first of the items that go on that table that we saw at the start of the game. And I get the ammo. And we get a toy car. So here's going to be our third option for getting a game. Over here we have Flavio brothers, which is apparently actually what they consider the second. So in this, around here there's a house that you can break into that has a dog and has a padlock key that unlocks this padlock. Head up towards the sports building. I think that's, what is that actually? It's the Untitled Sports Shop. That will actually have this chessboard and that will have the game right here. So we're coming up on the halfway mark. And actually, I'll quick show you guys where you're going to get a good weapon too, so let's go take a look. So after clearing out the sports shop, you should have picked up a backpack and a key. And what that does is that opens up this building, which is an apartment block that's next door to the sports shop. And if you go over to the 3rd floor, you clear out the enemies. There is one that's actually hanging out in here that runs out at you. And you head in here, you can pick up an Uzi 9mm. Decent little weapon, very fast firing rate. I personally find it to be worthless, but certain other people might not. But this is another one of the guns that you can pick up. It's pretty hard to miss the 9mm pistol if you take the route that I took when I first played the game, because it's pretty much sitting right in the open, so didn't want to go ahead and show you guys that, but There you go, that's just a little add-on trick, but now let's go on back to the story. Let's go head towards the hospital, because that's actually one of the major story locations we have to get to. Okay, so when you're in the hospital, after you clear all of it out, on the first floor in the back, there's one of two rooms that you really need to pay attention to, and it's a key-coded door. The code for the door is 9462. On the second floor, if you go to a room that's labeled 007/2, there will actually be a hint that gives you a little bit of a clue for the other one. But also at the top floor, there's going to be a little puzzle. It's like basically a Rubik's Cube you have to solve to get the code. That is randomized. I've had really good luck and I've had really bad luck with it, so just something to keep in mind. But this will have a brain and it will also have another game. This will have Pak-Man, which is actually apparently the 6th game, insofar as the game is counting them. Alright, let's go on in, and now actually, in order to get the other one, I'll just quick show you where to go in case you ended up missing the note or missing where to go. I'll quick show you guys where, because this is actually a kind of clever little hiding spot. When you enter through the hospital, go down here, there is a little bit of this like chalkboard, whiteboard looking thing covering up a hole, and that's where you go to get the second piece of the brain. Alright, the next game is going to be as soon as you traverse through the hole, you're going to go in and see a sort of dingy hallway set. Take your first right, head all the way down. You're going to kill this dude on the wall, and then you're going to find another game. This is Galaxa, which is technically the 8th one, which is very strange. So after you get the game, move on down the hallway, and you're going to come across this little maze. And this maze isn't really that complicated. Pretty much every dead end does end pretty quickly. But you want to be sure that you pay attention to the floor, because there's a shotgun in here, and this is actually going to be our first two-handed weapon that we get in the game. And this shotgun is pretty useful. And this is going to be very, very useful for an encounter that we're going to have a little bit later on in the hospital. And then at the end of that little puzzle, that little area, whatever you want to call it, this is the second half of the brain, and then you loop on around, and now we can go on head out towards finishing off this section. Alright, so after getting all the brain pieces, you put them on the body, and what that does is that opens up this door down here. And this is going to lead us to one of our first choices, I guess, that we get to make in the game. Couple of things we got to keep an eye out for down here. We have this note here. Now this note for the bad ending is useless. For the better endings, it's actually very, very important. But since we're doing the bad ending here in this part of the video, I'm not going to bother. I'll try to show you guys when we get a chance to see it. So, this is going to be our first boss fight. So, in order to do the bad ending, what you have to do is you actually have to kill her. You have to destroy Agnes's brain. And doing that, pretty much the only way to do it is basically, well, yeah, you have to stun her with that or with shooting her a whole heck of a lot. Yeah, you have to shoot her a whole heck of a lot, or you have to stun her with the little trap, I guess you'd call it. Yep, and then you have to pretty much lure her into here. Shoot her in the brain several times. It's very, very difficult to do this in 2. Actually, it's almost impossible to do in 2. I've only ever pulled it off in 3, but yeah, she gets more and more angry during each of these. Now that being said, luckily, doing this the proper way, and actually taking her out how you're supposed to, is a heck of a lot easier. And we'll go ahead and we'll see that when we're doing the... Yeah, we'll see that when we're doing the other ending. Alright, so we went ahead, we killed Agnes. Like I said, there is another way to do it. There's actually, if you're wandering around it here, you'll see a whole bunch of items, but I'll show you guys how to do it properly if you wanted to get the neutral or the good endings during those parts. So after you kill Agnes, or you defeat her in the alternative method, which again we'll see later, head on down this door that opened up, and we find the photo. This is the photo of Agnes. This is the second of the 3 pieces of our memories that we need. Alright, once you're done dropping off the photo that we got, You head back into the park, poKet Park, and if you'll go down here, you'll see a door. This is actually this left side path here, which you're not really going to be able to see too well, considering that my cursor isn't on the screen, but you guys get what I mean. poKet Park in the right middle, there's a path to the right that we've cleared, and a path to the left that we haven't. It's locked, and it gives you that as a reference to something, which, I'll freely admit, I actually didn't get the first time. But what you do is you head over this way, towards that stone. I just didn't piece that together. And right behind this stone, which is apparently a monument to someone, you'll find a little note here. Dad said yesterday we're going to wake up early in the morning today, so I went to sleep right after bathing. Wasn't sure what we were going to do, but Mom said we're going to the fun fair today. We tried everything and got all kinds of fun rides. Mom didn't like it, but Dad was cool and let me in many cotton candies and ice creams. And then there is this little puzzle that actually has the same symbol on it. So pretty simple, you just go ahead, you just rotate it out to the relevant pieces. I believe this should be it. If it fails, you'll see a really aggressive sparking. So, yep, that went ahead, that powered that on, and what that did is it actually gave us the key to the door. Pretty simple one once you actually know what you're looking for. I know a few people that actually completely missed that object. They just didn't piece it together like I did, or like I didn't too, so yeah, apparently a lot of people though did fit that together, so I guess your mileage may vary, but there you go. And now we head on through. And now we kind of head off to the west half of the map. So as soon as you go through that door, you're walking down a path. There's nothing really down that way, but in front of you is actually a new handgun. It's the Taurus 44 Magnum Revolver. Pretty powerful little gun. Obvious trade-offs being, since it's a revolver, low capacity and all that, but yeah, this is one of the guns that you'll need if you're trying to get the achievement for picking everything up. And then this building that I just walked into on the right just has some boxes. The boxes seem to be randomized too, so I don't think they're going to be consistent across all playthroughs. It looks like it uses the smart spawn system that I think Resident Evil 4 popularized. So if you're doing badly, you'll get more stuff. If you're doing really well, then you won't. Okay, next little game console on our list is going to be down here, in front of this hunting shop, which I'll show you guys actually on the map where it is. It's kind of at the bottom middle where there's that little bullseye looking structure next to the police station. You head on down this way, and this gives us Goofy Monkey 2, which is, I think that's actually the fourth one, so the developers I think anticipate the player heading this way first instead, which is a little strange that they locked it off to me, but again, whatever. You know, developer knows best, I guess. Alrighty, seventh game. When you go down into the bottom left corner, if we pass by the police station, you'll have kind of gone across a field, you'll have gone through some apartment buildings, and you end up in the bottom left, in front of this house. What you can get is this. You can get Hyper Contra. And that is the seventh game, technically, on the list as well. So that just leaves us with one more to get. Then, once you go through and you clear out that house, you should have gotten the components for a bomb. You should have gotten a detonator and a pair of pipe bombs. You combine them and you use them on this. This was actually a little side path that you would have encountered on the way over to that house. You head on in, there's a couple enemies around, and then you come across this dude waiting. I want to be like my noble prey. And there's a key there. And that key, well, it's for the hunting shop, so let's go down that way. So we used the key on the hunting shop, which was all the way back here by where we got, I think, the sixth one, the sixth game. And then back here, there's going to be this item, this special thing, the Antlers. And those are going to be what we have to use to find the answer to a puzzle that was back where we just were. So we go up with our newfound friend here. We go ahead, we use the Antler, and that makes him look like a tree, doesn't it? So the puzzle we're looking for is this, and what we have to do is we actually have to select all 5 of the trees. We click up here to send it under the door, and then they decide if they like our answer or not. Since these guys did, the blades blocking the next door out of here are now gone. Okay, next weapon we're gonna get is actually down here in this, it's in sort of the left middle, the building with the toolbox. It's the machine tool shop. And this is going to give us both a new toy, and it's going to give us an item that we need to get inside the police station. So first things first, angle grinder. This is what we need to do to get through the angle, to get through the metal blocking the police station. As well, we have ourselves the AKR. And that is going to be our new toy that we're going to be able to use in order to mow down these things by the truckload. Now you can see I'm actually, because I'm sort of blitzing this, I'm overburdened so I can't pick up the ammo, but yeah, this is where you get the assault rifle, which if you follow the guide so far, I believe that should get you almost all of the weapons. I think that'll get you 6 out of the 7 weapons. If you're trying to get that achievement too, up by the sports shop in the top center, before you enter into that little playground looking structure, on one of the sides there's a shovel. If you're looking for the achievement, that's where it is. I personally don't really care, but I actually found it when I was going through here earlier, and I took a look and I realized that was one of the ones that I got 6 out of 7 for achievement wise, so I figured I would just share with you guys. But there we are. I actually probably could have picked up that ammo. But anyway, yeah, let's head on back then. Now that I have the angle grinder, we're going to go to the police station. Later on, once you're down in the police station, go ahead and clear it out. You'll have picked up a small key from this room here that has the evidence room tag on it. And then when you head on down, you'll head into here and there's going to be 2 things we need. So the story item is going to just be this here. It's 1/2 of a key, and then the last game piece is here, pocket beasts. And there we go. That actually gives us the last one. I'm not, supposedly you're supposed to get some sort of thing for it, but I don't know what you get for it. But yeah, there is also some references to it for the keys and missing, but that's all you really need to know. But that is the important item. We have found 1 of 2 pieces of a very important key. And then at the middle of this platforming section is where you're going to find the next key. This isn't really a puzzle per se, but I wanted to go over sort of how you find it, just for those of you who weren't necessarily familiar. But that wraps up the police station, and this gives us the key to the crime scene, which is actually an area that we encountered just a little bit earlier. So after you come back from the police station, you head on down the street from where you got the angle grinder, and we actually went to the crime scene, we went to a house, we got past some spooky shenanigans. And now we have ourselves another puzzle. We have to solve this. And there's a few different things that we can do here. So you'll notice that there's 3 different rings and a few different indicators. So the center one is actually based on the red cloths, of which there's 1, 2, and 3. So the center one is going to be a 3. Then we're looking for this, and that's X's on a calendar. And we'll actually see that in a second. Pick up this item here. And then the middle ring is this. The therapy doesn't help. I'm still afraid just watching the ceiling all night long. It feels like a deep black veil on me. I miss you, Agnes. And if we use this, it gives us 5. So the inner ring is 5. So it's something, 5, and 3. And how we get that answer is actually here. And this tape kind of shows us how we solve the puzzles. It gives us hints on everything. So let's go take a look. And there we go. So that, if you noticed on the calendar, there were 6 X's on the calendar. So the code should be 6, I believe it was 6, 5, 3. Let's see if that's right. And 1 more. And there we go. We just heard the unlocking sound. I'm not actually able to interact with it after that to confirm it. So that's how we know it's right. Now we gotta go worry about this dude here. Luckily, shooting him in the back with a machine gun seems to solve the problem pretty well. And, you know, may as well pick that up too. Good. So, let's head on in. Let's go see what else the game has to offer. Okay, so this is gonna be the next, and I think one of the final sequences that actually let you determine how you get one of the endings. Keep on clicking out of the screen, sorry. So for this one, we actually want, if we're going for the bad ending, we're going to be going for all of the negative outcomes. So in a death, how do you feel when death comes for a family member? We feel anger. What if it was someone's fault? Vengeance. And let's see, method, legal or vigilance? I think that's supposed to be vigilante, because the legal method... Oh god, hello. You startled the hell out of me. I wasn't aware there was anyone down here. Anyway, yes. So, I believe they're suggesting would we be vigilantes or use the law. Of course, vigilante. And then last, eye for an eye, make him suffer. This should lead us to the bad ending. And then this is actually going to give us the lab coat, which is the third and final item we need to put on the table. And now we're in the final house. We have all 4 items placed. There's another tape down here if you want to listen to the lore. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding out the truth of what's going on here in the town of Hidapushta, I believe it's called. Well, whatever it is, yeah. We go into the child's room. And now we're in the second to last portion of the game. This is the second arena before the final boss fight. Now this one's actually pretty straightforward, and none of these will change based on endings, by the way. So I'll just show you the one that I have here. But yes, this one, it's basically 3 stages, and in each stage, you just have to fight off all of these little, like, blood clot looking things, for lack of a better phrase. And then it goes ahead and they respawn in. And you just have to do each one. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And the ones that you've already done are actually blocked off. And during these, by the way, more of these things will spawn in, so fairly straightforward. I'm just happening to be using my pistol here because I had a lot more ammo for it after the game. Technically speaking, the Magnum is probably a little bit better for this because the Magnum will actually kill these things in a single hit. Yeah, I don't necessarily really advocate for either one. I just happen to have the ammo, and yeah, when I did the full recorded playthrough of this, I actually had a lack of Magnum ammo kind of by this point that made my life a little bit harder than it needed to be. And now that I've done this, yeah, we just have to go ahead. We just have to kill off the last couple of these things. And then we'll move on to the actual boss fight that's going to end the game. Did I see some... Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I thought I saw some stuff around here. There's ammo and things. They do spawn with it a little bit, but whatever. So, let's head on down. And now we're going to encounter the real enemy, the real final fight. Say hello to Father. This is what's been tormenting us, I guess I'd say. And this fight is mainly just a question of sort of knowing certain patterns, I guess I'd describe it as. Yeah, each of its arms has like a special attack that it can do. Okay, well I'll take a med kit. Or I'll take ammo rather. Yeah, each of its arms has a special attack it can do. It's really just a question of knowing how to dodge them and read them. It's really just a timing thing, nothing too special. Nothing happens during the fight either. You pretty much just... Yeah, you pretty much just have to find coins, use them, and try to avoid stepping in those puddles like I am here. And then, once the face opens up, you go ahead and you just shoot it in the face until the cover goes away. Or until the cover comes back on, rather. Yeah, you can do this in about 2 full magazines with the assault rifle. I've used the I've seen the shotgun, I think, used on it. Or no, I think I've used the shotgun on it before, and it really wasn't that good. Fudge. That wasn't very good. But yeah, I've used the shotgun on it before, and the shotgun just doesn't really have the... What do I want to say? The shotgun just doesn't really have the range or the capacity to do it well. Yeah, it's not really that good for this fight. Which is a bit of a shame, because I know a lot of people would probably rather use something like a shotgun for this, but... there you go. Get myself a med kit. And yeah, you might notice that I'm getting the living crap beaten out of me. And yeah, that's pretty much par for the course. This fight, I think, actually killed me the first time that I encountered it. Ah, heck. Alright. Yeah, and that swing will actually get faster as it does damage, so... let's go kill it. We just killed the evil spirit of father, I guess. And now let's go see what happens during the bad ending. Okay, so we went ahead and we killed it. We can pick up this disc, and that is going to be what really gives us the ending. We'll learn a little bit about what's been happening here, what's been going on in the story. If you read all the notes and if you listen to the tapes, you pick up a little bit of it. So, let's go listen. Go to the D drive, and let's play the disc.
I've been thinking a lot, Adrian. At what point we ruined this whole thing. There were whole days when I just sat at the computer and kept thinking about how I could have changed everything. I was so happy with Agnes until you arrived. Every day together was a blessing. Then we started slowly going down the line when you came. Less time for each other. Always thinking about you. Doing everything for you. After her death, I couldn't find my place in this world, and you? I didn't want to take care of you. The only thing I had in my head was killing that damn doctor. And I'm glad I did it. After what he did to your mother, he deserved it. I don't know why, but I feel like you must know the truth. Why I threw you away after your mother's death. I was so angry at you. I felt like you stole our last years from us. I hated myself too, because I couldn't help her with that fucking sickness. I was useless. I haven't even gone to see her since her funeral. Her grave had no flowers for years. To be honest, I don't even follow the dates anymore, and I can't tell if it's day or night. I can't sleep anyway. Every time I lay my head on the pillow, I see your mother's face or the doctor's body. So this is all I have left. This is what took our family house, my health, and your future, Adrian. I don't want to feel better now. I don't want to keep up this whole shit or blame anyone anymore. I just want it to end.
And there we go. That was the bad ending of Remorse the List. So let's actually take a look at the stats. I'm kind of curious. Took 2 hours, 330 damage taken, 6 enemies, 6 medkit used, 98 enemies defeated. Got an A rank, nice. Yeah, the medkits is probably what took me down a lot there. But let's actually go on in. I'm going to reload a partial save from that same run we just did, and let's go take a look at the neutral ending. And let's go see what's changing. And when we get there, I'll explain sort of what you have to do to change it. Okay, so to get the neutral ending, we had 3 choices that we can make. The first was whether or not we were going to give justice to the king. The second is if we were going to go in and if we were going to kill Agnes or take her out the other way. And the third is our choices here. And you only have to do one of these the proper way. If you do one of these in the quote-unquote good way versus the bad, then you end up getting the neutral ending. You have to do all 3 of them good or all 3 of them bad in order to get either the good or the bad ending. So I just went in and I did this, considering I did the other 2 bad, and this is going to allow me to save some time. If you want to see what it looks like to do the quote-unquote good option for all 3, you'll see them all in the good ending, because I'll just insert them, because that's really the only changes you're going to see in the entire playthrough. Everything else would be the same. I won't bother going back and showing you guys everything again. So, what do you feel when death comes for a family member? You feel sadness. What if it was someone to blame? So the question is, which one of these do we feel like is better? I'm thinking... Damn it. Sorry. I keep on clicking out of there while I think about it. So maybe it's easier that way. And then... blame who? Blame the person who didn't, hate the person who didn't do anything to stop it. You think so, huh? Yeah, I think blame the person who did it. Shoot. Go away. And hello. And then what about this? Maybe you should do something with your own hands. No, I would not do that. Sorry. So now if we head this way, that should have put us in a position where we're going to do... Yeah, it should have put us in a position where we're going to get to go in, and now we should be able to get the neutral ending. So I'll just go rebeat the final boss and everything, and then when we come back, you'll get a chance to see the neutral ending of the game. And there we go. Went ahead, took him down a second time, and now let's go see what the neutral ending is going to have to offer after we go grab the disc. And we wake up back inside of our home. At least I'm thinking this is our home. I'm not sure if this is our home or if this is like the kid coming home to where his parents used to live. That I'm not really sure on, but I guess it doesn't really matter either way. I guess if you guys have any theories on the ending, or if the developers have said anything that I'm not aware of, feel free to leave a comment and let me know below. I would appreciate it, because I really like this game.
There wasn't a day where I didn't think about Agnes, or you, Adrian. Those beautiful memories were always there to cheer me up. But I'm afraid they won't help me. We were so happy at the fun fair, at the cinema. It feels like it was just yesterday. You wanted to try everything and kept eating as much chocolate as you could. But these memories could never change what I did or who I am. I thought I did well sending you to the orphanage after Agnes's death. That it was the right thing to do. I saw myself not handling this very well, and I really thought it would be better this way. I hope you will forgive me one day. I tried to ignore the doctor's behavior, but I could not. I regret what I did, how I solved the problem with him. I'm sure there was another way to deal with him, but I couldn't find one. I don't know if your mother would agree with my choices. I don't know if it even matters anymore. I went to her grave once a year to bring her flowers. Every time I went, I was scared that if I met you there, in front of her, that I would be forced to confess all my sins. Maybe one day we will meet. I would like to see what sort of man our little boy grew up to become. In the package, there's a key to a locker. I did all I could to save some of our family's valuables for you. I wasn't a good father at all, but I tried to do at least this much to help you on your way. Remember, Adrian, your future is in your hands. Never look back. Always move forward.
And there we are. That was the neutral ending of Remorse, the List. And that's actually the ending I got during my full playthrough. And it's a very somber ending. It's not quite as hated or as hateful as the other one, but yeah, you can see I got a rank again. But let's go on in then. We'll go do the good ending. And what I'll do is I'll just intersperse what it looks like to do the good quote-unquote choices for all three. And everything else would just be nonsense. There won't be anything else there. So, first decision time. We have to go in, and after we went all the way through the house, we did the puzzle with the crowns, we get to choose what we're going to do with the king. And in this case, I'm actually going to choose the Tablet of Freedom. It has a pigeon carved out of the metal. And let's go see what happens to the king then. There we go. The king is safe. Yeah, and you just heard the fluttering of wings. And then we can go on here and then we can go get the car. And then we can go continue on with the story and go head out because our next objective is going to be going to meet Agnes. So our second moral choice is going to be here in the hospital. So we went to the pathology area. And I said earlier on that this was going to be important. Place material inside the hatch that should be burned. Close the door, do something, and the lever on the wall, ignite the incinerator. Could take several uses. So that's actually going to be very, very relevant to how we have to go ahead and we have to deal with Agnes. And it's actually something that I didn't really get a chance to show off during the bad ending, but all around this place there's several objects, and you might have even noticed them sort of up and around in the area when we were wandering around the first time. And you actually might have noticed them too. They were sitting there by just before we drop in. There's several images. So first off was a drawing. And it pretty much just have to go in a loop here. We have to get some of our stuff back. You can actually try to shoot her here. If you shoot her enough, she will go ahead and she will, that sucks. Yeah, if you shoot her enough, she will actually go ahead and, her brain will pop out. So there is a possibility if you can't get the timing on that and you have a bunch of ammo, you can just unload on her. There we go. So we used the first one of those. And it kinda sucks that it takes so much effort, but there we go. That's the first of 3. The second looks like it's gonna be baby shoes. So let's go ahead, let's insert those here. And same deal. Oh, wow, that got really lucky. That was actually her first try. Also, it looks like she... Oh no, I was gonna say, it looked like she took damage. But I think it's just because the edges of her health bar have a little bit of like a... I don't know what they call it, a little bit of like a blur. There's a little bit of darkness around the outside. And then the third one is a wedding ring. So we go ahead, we insert that there, and same story. We have to go ahead, we have to incinerate the wedding ring. Come on. God dang it. Okay. That kind of sucks. You know, I'm not even sure that that's actually legally safe to have an incinerator that doesn't light. But yeah, go on in, use the incinerator, and then when it's done, she should disappear. It is a very creepy enemy design, too. Yeah, there we go. So we destroyed Agnes, not by killing her, not by shooting her head until she died, but we destroyed it by destroying her memories. And then we can go on and we'll actually go through that same door, we'll go get the picture, and then we'll move on to the third and final choice, which is going to be the section involving making the decisions, more or less, about what we would do with someone who killed our family. Okay, so here we go. We're now going on to the third set of criteria for the good ending to Remorse the List. So what do you want when death comes? So we're going to do sadness first. And then maybe it's easier that way. Followed by blame the person who did it. Take you out. And then lastly, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't take it into my own hands. And there we go. That's it, all the criteria for getting the good ending of the game. So now let's go ahead and pick up the lab code, and then let's go fight the final boss and see what happens with the story. And there we go. There is the third and final kill of the boss for the good ending to the game. And I really hope I didn't just die and have to redo all that. No, it looks like I just got hit right at the last moment there. So for the last time, let's go talk to the CD. What am I saying? Let's go check the CD, and let's go see what's on there. Go see what message was left for Adrian by the father. Go use this. The fact that this is here, I think we're playing as Adrian, which is a very interesting situation.
People say that after a while, every piece gets to its place in our lives. I hope your story will be the same, Adrian. I want you to know that I tried to do everything on your behalf, even if you saw it differently while standing on the stairs of the orphanage. After your mother passed away, I couldn't raise you properly. I just couldn't do it. I want you to understand that I didn't want you to see the things I've done after your mother's death. I'm not proud of what I've done. But now I'm trying to do what's right. I went to many anonymous meetings at the hospital, talked to people with the same story as mine, and I figured out that I'm not alone with my flaws and mistakes. After these sorrowful years, I think a lot about our memories. When we played on the merry-go-round for hours, or when we took a wrong turn on a hike and ended up in the forest for half a day before we found our way out. I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me. I will regret it forever. Some months ago, I figured out how I could help you, so I started to clean up stains from the walls I did in the past. In the box, you'll find a key and an address. I hope this will help you in your brand new life, so you become the man I always imagined you as an adult. I'm very proud of you, my son. For the path you went through, for how strong you are to be here. I hope we can meet once more and talk like father and son. It doesn't matter where our story took the wrong turn. You can be proud of yourself and look into the future.
And there we go. That was the good ending and the third ending of Remorse, the list. And yeah, all of three of those had some good strengths. I'd only seen the neutral ending prior to this, so that was a lot of fun. This dead result screen, like she talked about this quickly. Interestingly, it doesn't have a deaths counter. I died 5 times in the sequence with the platforming in the police station. Everything else, I barely... Yeah, I mean, I took some damage because I got pinned in a corner a couple of times, but... yeah, that was pretty much it. But there we go. That was all of the endings of Remorse the List, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I had a lot of fun going back and replaying this. Still absolutely adore this game, and yeah, very, very well made. Very happy I got a chance to play it. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. So if you guys did enjoy the video, if you wouldn't mind, please leave a like or leave a comment. Which was your favorite ending of Remorse the List? Which do you feel fits the story the most? I'm a sucker for upbeat endings, so I would probably choose the good ending myself, but I'm curious how you guys feel. And if you're new to the channel, if you enjoyed the video, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, I would really, really appreciate that. And for everybody else, thank you very much for watching all of the endings of Remorse the List. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you in another video very soon.